Hey guys, welcome back to the Perspective channel. If you're new here, my name is Claudia. I'm a real estate agent and a mortgage broker here in Atlanta. I release video every week where I share my perspective on a range of topics from real estate to personal finance and business. In today's video, I will go over 6 types of insurance that you need to have. So the first one is homeowners insurance slash renters insurance. So if you own your home, having homeowners insurance is a must. So the lenders will not let you close on the property unless you can show proof of insurance prior to closing. So that homeowners insurance will cover your house in case something were to happen, fire, damage, or whatever the case may be, or if your personal property was damaged. So your homeowners insurance will cover that. So if you a renter now, you're renting from your landlord, even if your landlord does not require you to have renters insurance, it is always a good idea to make sure that you have renters insurance in case something were to happen. Your personal property will be covered because your landlord homeowners insurance will not cover you as a tenant. So make sure you protect yourself. You know, most landlords do ask for tenant to have their own renters insurance, but some don't. So in the event that you're renting and your landlord does not ask you to have that, make sure you get that for yourself. And they are fairly cheap. You actually can get them. I know here in Georgia, like $15 to $20 a month. That'll cover your personal property. The next one is medical insurance. According to a recent survey, half of all bankruptcies in the United States is related to medical expenses. So if you're working somewhere and your employer provide medical coverage, make sure that you sign up for it. I know a lot of times we're trying to cut costs and we're trying to say, okay, I don't get sick, or especially if you don't have kids, you can try to, to roughing it. But you got to be careful because at any given moment, you can get sick. One hospitalization can cost you tens of thousands of dollars. And if you don't have that money, that can lead into bankruptcy. I know sometimes, medical coverage can be very expensive. You're paying a lot for medical coverage. And in addition to that, you still got to meet some deductible. And when you go there, you still got to pay on top of it. So I know that seems to be very costly, but at the same time, it's better for you to pay that monthly premium, and you don't use it versus when you need it and you don't have it. So make sure that if you're in a position to get medical coverage, you get at least the basic. And if you are self-employed, and I know a lot of people that are self-employed don't have medical coverage. So if you're in a position to shop around and call different company as an independent contractor to see if you can get that, definitely consider it and look at the cost to see if that is something that you can afford to get. So if you're in a position to get it, don't skip it. Okay, you may not get sick. It may be a long time since you've been sick, but you just take one hospitalization to pretty much wipe you out financially. So be careful, protect yourself, and make sure you get that medical coverage. The next one is term life insurance. A lot of time people will call you and offer you whole life as an investment. That's pretty much, for me, I don't see it as an investment because most of that money you're going to pay in premium, which is much more than the term, it's going to go as far as like paying commission for them, trying to sell you that kind of product. So if you're looking as far as like insurance, definitely looking for like a term, preferably like a 30-year term that will cover like 10 to 15% of your current income. Because the whole purpose of the insurance, in case something were to happen to you in your working years, that your family is covered. So after 30 years, most people, tends to get like a home for 30 years, this and other. So after 30 years, you should be in a position to pay off your home and be in a much better position financially that you can withstand any event that may happen in your life. So definitely look for term insurance covering like 10 to 15% of your current income. They're fairly cheap. Just call around and see exactly how much a term life will cost. So definitely stay away from universal life because in my opinion, they are not worth the paper they are right on. So the next one is car insurance. If you own a car and you're driving the car, you must have car insurance. Driving without car insurance is against the law. If you get caught, you are going to jail. Don't risk it. So when it comes to car insurance, basically they break it down to three separate coverages. The first one is liability coverage. So that covers you in case you get into an accident. So your policy will cover the person if they incur any personal injury as a result of the accident. They will cover that in the person's car, replacement or repair. The second part is collision coverage. Basically, that covers your car either to replace it or repair it in case you get into an accident as a result of a wreck. The final one is comprehensive coverage. So that covers your car in case, say for instance, especially in Georgia, you get hit by a deer or result of hail or tree fall in your car. So that will cover your car. Make sure you call your insurance agent to make sure whatever coverage that you have, that it covers all three aspects of it. Because sometimes you may not know what kind of coverage that you have and you get into an accident, especially here in Georgia, you get hit by a deer and you find out you didn't have comprehensive, so you will not be covered. So just make sure that you have liability, collision, and comprehensive. So it depends where you are. It can be just call around and see how much it costs. So it's good to have all three, but if you can't, at least have liability protection in case you get into an accident, and at least the other persons will be covered, so you don't have to, otherwise you can end up be held financially liable for that accident. The next one is disability insurance. I know most of us don't think as far as like being disabled, but in terms of disability does not mean that you are confined to a wheelchair or anything like that. Disability can be like a back pain. According to a survey, people in their 20s right now, 1 out of 4, like 25% of people in their 20s currently will suffer some sort of disability by the time they reach 60 years old. So think about it. Sometimes your job may offer short and long-term disability in case something happened at work, you are covered. But what if something does happen outside of work? Say for instance, you could be at the gym working out and you hurt your back. And a back pain can keep you out of work from 1 to up to 3 months or even longer. So if that does happen, you're not covered. So financially, how are you going to support yourself? So these are things most of us don't think about when it comes to insurance, especially disability. We always think as disability as someone like in a wheelchair, bedbound, but disability can be something, depression can be considered disability. So like I say, back pain, arthritis can be a disability because that can prevent you from going to work for a short or long period of time. So disability insurance is not that expensive. Once again, these are things that most people don't think about on a daily basis, but until it happens to you. But by the time it happens, it's too late. Because if you're already involved in some type of accident, as well as like hurting your back or something were to happen, you cannot get the coverage. These are things that you may not need, but at the same time, in the event that you do need them, you have them in place. Because I've seen it firsthand as far as like what a back injury can do to someone. You can get, even like in a car accident, that's not your fault, and you don't have the full coverage and you don't have the disability, pretty much you are left on your own to fend for yourself and try to figure out your finances. So definitely look into getting a short or long-term disability, because sometimes if your injury lasts more than a couple of months, you may need a long-term disability. So if your job does not offer it, even if your job does offer it, but for your job, it's like injury that happens while you're at work. But think about things that can happen outside of work. Slip and fall, you can be shoving the snow, you twist the wrong way and hurt your back. Anything can happen. So make sure that you have that coverage in the event something were to happen, that you are protected and cover yourself financially for a short or long period of time so you don't get yourself into debt. So the last one is long-term care. If you are close to 60, that's the time you definitely need to shop around. Most of us don't think as far as like long-term care as something that we're gonna need. While most of us are very young, we're not thinking about that. But long-term, as we age, as we get older, there's a very good chance that we may end up in a nursing facility, even if at home care, to help us with our daily activities. So these are things as you get older, that's something that even if you're in your 20s, 30s, that's you're not going to need. But for those that are close to 60 or 60 years old, definitely that's something that you're definitely going to need long-term care, because as we age, as we know, Father Time is undefeated, and as you get older, your body gonna deteriorate to some extent. So make sure that you are covered financially. These are all, as far as all these insurances, it's all part of your financial planning, because these things kind of protect your asset, kind of leverage your asset, and kind of transfer the risk to the insurance company. So basically just paying the premium in case something were to happen that you don't have to come out of pocket. Worse yet, you don't have to go into debt to take care of these things. So these are things that you kind of put in place as you're trying to plan your financial future, so that kind of prevents you from not going into whatever, if you have money saved up or planning for retirement, that you don't have to use that money to take care of those kind of necessities. If you guys enjoyed this content, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. I want to thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.